Well, good day to you. It is June the 10th, and I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you happen to be. Now, if this is your first time ever listening to this channel, my name is Gary Willing, and even though I can't see you, it is really good to see you. Now, what do we talk about here? We talk about the emergence of Maitreya and the Masters of Wisdom. We talk about why are the Masters returning now? Why is it important that they do so? And of course, what does it mean for you? Now, if you happen to listen to this video all the way through, or you might even be able to skip through to the end and hear if you don't want to listen to the question and answer portion of this video, at the very end of this video, I'm going to read an article written by one of these masters about just that. Why are the masters returning? Why is it important that they do so at this particular time? And of course, what does it mean for everyone that they're doing this? So it's written by a master, quite simply, eloquently, but full of truth about it. And this master, who worked through Benjamin Creme, the spearhead of this information for decades, published articles wrote articles, and they were published in Share International magazine on a monthly basis about current events, about certain spiritual matters, about Maitreya's priorities, the future work of Maitreya, and even work about the Space Brothers and so forth. I mean, just a wide variety of topics. And I like to read from these articles from time to time and put them up on these videos. And they're important because they help for any one of us to see kind of the ideas coming from these masters, okay? It also might give you a sense of how they speak and how intelligent they are, but yet how simple their words are. If you read these articles yourself, you probably wouldn't get this from me reading it to you, but if you took the time to go to the Share International website and read these articles for yourself, whether it's this one or another one, and you internalize the words, your soul will, you can kind of use your inspiration and your intuition, I guess is a better way of saying it, to kind of, come up to the truth about this, what he's trying to say for yourself. You know what I mean? But if you also, like I said, if you want to read these articles right away, the best way to do it is to go to the Share International link. The link is in the description. You can actually read some of these articles. You can also see background information about Maitreya and so forth. See videos from Benjamin Creme, see lectures from Benjamin Creme, some radio interviews. Listen to some radio interviews that he's done over the years and so forth. But if you're somebody that likes to read it from a book, the book that I'm reading these articles from is either not Maitreya's Mission, A Master Speaks Volume 1 or Volume 2. And I also put a link to Amazon that you can purchase books by Benjamin Creme. These books are a part of that too, that you could buy if you wanted to. I think they're wonderful. They leave me with a greater sense of hope. This is just my personal testimony of it. But also, it really helps me to look at, internalize, use my intuition on, and so forth about what's going on today. Even if he was writing about something that happened 30 years ago in the world events, you can really translate it to what's going on today. And because history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. You know what I mean? So hopefully that will help. All right. Now, speaking of questions and answers, if you have a question you'd like to ask, I can try to answer it, or you can answer it yourself by looking at the links in these descriptions, either going to the Share International website or any of the other ones. You can see what I'm talking about in these videos about the miracles that have been going on, see images of it. I have a lot of videos that I put up, but it's not necessary that you listen to all those videos unless you want to. It's more important to really go and look at the links that I have in the description of these videos and start to investigate it for yourself and see if it's true for you or not. So hopefully that helps. All right. And then I have some questions I want to cover and a couple comments that I think we can kind of talk about this and help us to kind of come to a better understanding of what we talk about. So hopefully this will help. Now, the first one comes from The Truth. And they're commenting on a video I put up, and this might help us to understand why they wrote what they wrote. The title of the video is "The Christ is Here Now. Why? ? And what does it mean? ? All right. This person wrote, "It means the time is now. The prophecy of Mr. Creme is being fulfilled, perhaps not exactly as he presented it, but nevertheless, it will be fulfilled. Name one prophet which has been 100% accurate. Some things, Mr. Creme said, may be a bit different now, but the overall message will be the same. Peace be upon you all. Well, thank you for that truth. The truth. And peace be upon you too. Just a little side note. I knew Benjamin Creme for years. I knew him better than some and not as well as others. But I knew him and saw him every year for almost 2 decades. Ate lunch with him. You know, when he was here in Atlanta, I was lucky enough to be the person who was picked to drive him around because I worked at night, and during the day I was able to drive him around and so forth where other people had to work. So I was able to sit in the same car with him, talk to him, you know, about anything from art to this stuff, world events, to just shooting the breeze with him. You know what I mean? And how can I say this? He never viewed himself as a prophet, for one. Okay, now I'm not trying to argue semantics, so don't look at it like this, but I think it can add to this discussion. So when you hear the predictions that he made, not the prophecies, but the predictions that he made, and there is a distinction, they were coming from his own master or from Maitreya himself. And his master in Maitreya has even said that these aren't prophecies, they're based off of the law and cause and effect and how humanity's working within that law. And so that's how they're able to say what they said. Now there are certain events, like for instance the Day of Declaration, when Maitreya comes before the world and speaks to everyone on the planet, and people above the age of 14 hear what he has to say inwardly in their own head, in their own language. And at that moment, that's when we'll know that he is the one awaited by all the world's religions and not just some ordinary person as he is presenting himself on TV now, right? And also that it's sure that humanity will start to start the principle of sharing, and will start to create justice, will end hunger, solve the environmental problem in time, and so forth. And this article that I'm about to read talks about that. Those are certainties. The masters know for sure that will happen. They can see the future just as a prophet would, right? But they see it out of the framework of time. And so it's hard for us in our minds to take what they're saying and not apply it to time. That's why people even ask me, do you think Maitreya is going to come out this year or not? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It depends on humanity, right? I mean, it really does. And if he doesn't come out this year, it doesn't mean that I'm now going to be downhearted. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Maybe it's not. No. You know, and when you see it like that, you know, he's made, like, for instance, Ben made a prediction to the Share International groups. I don't know if it was made public or not. I don't think it was, that George W. Bush was going to die during his presidency. And everyone was shocked. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen, right? We didn't know. It was assassination, is this, that, and the other. No, but that's not what he was saying. But his karma was that he was supposed to not finish out his presidency. What happened was, and there were some certain things that happened. Remember when it was kind of weird. It was like this very, I don't know, he ate a pretzel and almost choked and fell off a bike or something like that, hit his head, and he actually had a bandage on his head for a while. That was actually the karmic event that was supposed to kill him. But the forces of darkness who were working through the Bush administration helped him to side-skirt his karma, and the karma went past him, according to Benjamin Creme. Believe it or not, I don't know. But so things do work out differently, but you know, in terms of the predictions that, let's say, Maitreya made back in the 80s, which a lot of people forget about because it's just so long ago, were quite extraordinary, because there were things that were going on that pertained to everyone's life. Like, everyone was in the United States and even in Russia were very concerned about the Cold War. That would it mean the end of life on planet Earth because of the Cold War? You know, Maitreya predicted the ending of that, the fall of the Berlin Wall. People never thought that even possible. You know, if you could go back, if you were alive during that time, and you go back and you put yourself in that state of mind, that was an extraordinary prediction that the world would come together in a peaceful way and end the Cold War. When I was in school and we were talking about it, I never thought that even possible. and yet all of a sudden it happened, right? And then I found out later that he had already made the prediction that it was going to happen. Same thing with the ending of apartheid. Who would have saw that coming? But Maitreya even said these aren't prophecies. These are based off the law and cause and effect. So humanity's free will plays into it, and a lot of things that we don't think that it does, but it does. And there's a lot of energies and stuff that the masters have to balance out for things to happen and so forth that we are totally ignorant of. That's the reason why some of these predictions don't work out, quote unquote, the way that we think they're going to do, But I also, this is interesting too, is I was at a conference one year in San Francisco, and I used to go there every year and spend the weekend, and it was a lot of talks and a lot of discussion about Maitreya's priorities and so forth, and so that kind of thing. But I think it was early August that this conference was of 2001. So right before September 11th. Okay. I was sitting at a table with Benjamin Creme and some of my friends, and he turned to a friend of mine named Phyllis. And the only thing I remember him saying, I wasn't really paying attention to the conversation, but I just heard him say, "You might not want to travel in September," is all he said to her. Now, I didn't know what that meant. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anything. He didn't say anything about a terrorist attack or anything like that, but that's all he said to her. And I was about to go up to New York. I'm a musician, and I was going to pick up a bass guitar that was made for me by a luthier named Roger Sadowski. And his office is in Manhattan. And I was going to fly up there and get my guitar or my bass and fly out on September 11th of 2001. And I was on the phone with Delta. This was before you really had websites and stuff. I mean, they had websites, but it wasn't quite as popular as it is today. But anyway, so I was on the phone with Delta, and I was getting the prices of the tickets and the times and stuff like this. And I actually had my credit card out. I was going to buy a ticket to fly up there. And I remember what he said. And I said, "Okay, ma'am, let me think about it. I'll call you back." And I never went up there. They shipped my bass to me. But I would have been down in Manhattan on Tuesday, September 11th. When all this went down, had I not heard what Benjamin Creme said to my friend Phyllis. You know what I'm saying? So it was little things like that. When you were around Benjamin Creme, you get these little nuggets of truth from time to time. And there were, in this regard, it probably saved my life in a lot of ways. All right. Now, the next comment says, honestly, and this is in regards, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to read the title of this. Why is the teacher coming back now is the title of this video. And this comes from MV Augusta. 675, whatever that means. Honestly, you'd be better off calling him an avatar. Okay. Which is thereabouts the same thing as the Christ. Okay. But if you're trying to get attention, then I guess you might get it. Am I trying to get attention by referring to him as the Christ or anything else? No, I'm not. He is the Christ. Esoterically, Maitreya is the Christ. Now, let me explain what I mean. A master who takes the path in order to become a Christ and no longer just manifest the love nature of God, but literally embody it. We all have the love nature of God in our hearts. We're manifesting it from moment to moment, a second here, perhaps a minute or two there, if we're lucky, maybe an hour or so every 6 years or 10 years or whatever happens to be, right? The masters have learned through trial and error and through burning off their karma and lifetimes to manifest that moment to moment. Okay. But then once they become a master, not every master chooses the arduous path of becoming a Christ. What makes Maitreya so quite extraordinary is he is one of our own humanity. He's not coming from another planet or another solar system and then became a Christ. Sai Baba was already a Christ when he came here. He was a cosmic Christ. If you're familiar with the teachings of Yogananda, his master's master, Babaji, was already a Christ before he came here and has been living here for eons and will continue to live here for eons away from the public eye, but here, serving however he's serving. But Maitreya actually came out of our evolution, this humanity. He came out of it. He suffered and toiled through every aspect of human endeavor, triumphed a little bit by a little bit, lifetime by lifetime by lifetime, creating more karma, this, that, and the other, burning that karma off, did what he did, what we're still in the process of doing, became a master, and then through eons of hard work and toil and so forth as a master, actually became a planetary Christ. It's unbelievably rare throughout cosmos to be a Christ. There are others, obviously, there's, in other solar systems and probably even in our solar system. But a planet at this level, it's almost unheard of. We're not even as advanced like the planet Venus or even the planet Mars, which Mars has not even developed a planetary Christ, actually. And they're slightly more advanced than we are. But we actually have two, which I don't even know if there's other, who knows if there's other planets throughout cosmos that have two planetary Christs. We have two planetary Christs. Now the masters will tell you there's no other planet in our own solar system at our level or less than our level that has two planetary Christs on it. We do, right? The Buddha was one and Maitreya is the other. So he is the Christ. Now, ideologically, Christians view the Christ much different. They view Jesus as being the only true Son of God. That's not what I'm referring to when I refer to Maitreya as the Christ. I'm referring to him as the esoteric view of who Maitreya is. Esoteric meaning that which is hidden. But eventually the exoteric knowledge of a Christ will be known to all of humanity, and humanity will view him as just that. Will look up to him as the accomplishment. And we'll, as Benjamin Crime's master said, may we stand in reverence of that accomplishment. We'll all look at it like, whoa. He came from where we are now, and look at where he is now. Whether others will do the same thing in the future, but even if we just become a master, how incredible that is for him to do that. He's our elder brother. We're lucky, unbelievably lucky to have someone of his stature on our planet. And we're even unbelievably more lucky. We have no idea the luck, the dumb luck that it took for him even to get to where he is on TV, speaking to us in the way that he is right now. To inspire and galvanize humanity in the way. We have no idea the true meaning of that phrase. To inspire and galvanize humanity to build a brilliant golden civilization based on righteousness and truth. And the truth, that in what it really means. You know what I mean? But eventually humanity will stand in reverence. Not that he's the only true Son of God. He's not. He knows the truth, that we're all divine. And I say this in videos, and I've said it before, and I'll say it right now, is he will never exalt himself above anyone. He will never look to somebody else as even higher than him or whatever, right, at the same time. But even the most lowest, uneducated, forgotten about members of humanity, poorest members of humanity, he will view them as equals, and love them in that way. We don't understand. At this moment in time, we've never seen someone like that, that does that in that way. In the very near future, we will have an example of somebody who loves people just that way, right? Every one of these masters will love him in that way, but he will love him in a way that only someone who can embody the love nature of God can. And we don't understand the true meaning of that either yet. But that's why I said he's the Christ. Now, Maitreya, when it comes to the ideological view of who and what the Christ is based on human ideology, when asked, are you the Christ awaited by the Christians? He will say, well, if I'm the Christ awaited for the Christians, then what about the Imamati for the Muslims? If he's speaking to perhaps some Muslims or people who are practicing Islam or whatever, and they say, are you the Imamati come back? He goes, well, if I'm the Imamati come back, what about the Messiah for the Jews? He comes for the whole world, really. And so he's going to say that he just call him the teacher, call him your elder brother, if you so choose, call him rabbi, which means teacher and so forth. You can call him the Christ, but he says those names only create confusion in the minds of people. But when I refer to him as Christ, I'm not referring to him as the only true Son of God. Or exalting himself above Jesus. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it from the esoteric standpoint of who and what he is and the accomplishment of what he did, and how unbelievably fortunate we are to be living in a world that is on the face of, or on the point and the brink of self-destruction, but yet we have a brother of arms kind of thing, spiritual brother that has accomplished everything that we're trying to do right now, became a master and embodied the Christ principle, and is already here on TV. Unbelievable. That's the hope of humanity, really. So we don't really know what that means for us yet, but we will. You know what I mean? But that's why I say it. So I don't say it to get attention. He is the Christ in that way. So hopefully that helps. All right. Now, let's see. Next question. Have you ever listened to Sadhguru? Yes, I have. He has a YouTube channel and seems very wise, maybe one of the teachers. Is he a master of wisdom? No, he is not. And the only reason why I can say that is because none of the masters of wisdom that are here on this planet in physical form, living in a modern city, are out known in any way, shape, or form. Because they won't come out into the public eye until after Maitreya has declared himself. And Maitreya will start to introduce them one by one. The master who was John, the master who was Peter, the master who was Paul, the master Jesus, the master who was Comte Saint-Germain, other masters that we perhaps don't know their names yet, or so forth, that will be working in various fields of endeavor, whether it's the beautification of our cities, the arts, music, that kind of thing, or whether it's teaching or working with governments, those kind of things. He'll introduce them eventually. But the only master that has really been out known as a master kind of was Satya Sai Baba. But he had a different purpose, and he's unfortunately out of incarnation right now. Will eventually be back, but it's from an esoteric viewpoint, it's true to say that none of the masters are on YouTube right now. None of the masters are speaking on TV, being interviewed by people in that way, have their own ashram and devotees and so forth. Now I found Sadhguru's teachings to be quite enlightening. I've learned a lot from him. I appreciate his humor when presenting this information to people. I think he's very funny, and he's doing it to help bring about a wisdom or so forth. But might I also say, kind of give a warning that Krishnamurti said that not to look to a spiritual authority, and that's even Maitreya. Maitreya is just a brother. He's just a teacher. He's not a spiritual authority in that way, But if that's what you're doing or not, I don't think so. But, just throwing it out there to you. All right. So, but I do appreciate you saying that. Now, the next question said, you mentioned the masters in your intro. What is a master? Who is a master? And why did they leave humanity? They never left humanity. They retreated and went remotely in the remote areas of the world and had been working indirectly through their disciples for eons. It was hoped just even 150 years ago that humanity would be ready for them to return to the world like they did eons and eons ago, where they were teaching humanity directly, about 1,000 years from now. The change in direction happened when humanity developed the atomic bomb and the Axis powers were defeated. That's when Maitreya said that if he did not come back at this particular time, humanity would eventually destroy itself. So he came back as a guarantee that we would not do that. And he came back into the world on July 19th, 1977. He never left the world, but he came into the modern city at that time. We kind of talked about who and what a master is, so hopefully they're humanity that has gone ahead of, kind of gone into the next kingdom above humanity, called the Masters of Wisdom, where they actually manifest divinity moment to moment. Now, when somebody says, like myself, calls them a master, they're not in control over anyone, like a master or a slave or something like this. They have mastered what it means to be divine at this level in every way, shape, or form. They've learned the lessons that we're still learning. They love unconditionally. They live harmlessly within that law. Their humanity, at a higher level. And there's just a very few of our humanity that have become masters so far. Most of them choose not to stay here. They leave and go to either other solar systems or higher planets, but a very, very tiny amount choose to stay here. But over the coming time, there'll be more and more of humanity becoming masters, to where there will be a lot of us that are masters, and helping humanity and so forth like that. But right now, just a very tiny bit. But they manifest what we manifest very intermittently, very briefly, from here or there or whatever, not perfectly. They manifest moment to moment perfectly. All right. Now, the next question is about the rays. Somebody asked a question about the rays. And there are 7 streams of energy that the Ageless Wisdoms postulate as truth that stream all throughout cosmos. And everything from an atom on up to us and the masters, and even beyond the masters, a planet, a solar system, manifest a quality of that ray. But the first one is will, or power. The second one is love, wisdom. The third is active intelligence. The fourth is harmony through conflict, which is an artistic ray. So to answer your question about Bob Dylan, he of course had some, either in his personality or his soul, he had the artistic ray of the fourth ray in him. Quite a wonderful poet and musician. Fifth is concrete science. Sixth is abstract idealism or devotion, which most fanatics or martyrs are on that ray of the history in human history over the last 2,000 years. And then seventh ray is ceremonial magic. And each one of our souls are on one of those rays. Our personality, our mind, our emotional body, our physical body is on one of those rays. That's what creates the quality of the individual. Why my quality is different from somebody else's quality. It's based on the rays that I am on versus somebody else, and vice versa, or you, or whatever like that. And the esoteric psychology of the future will be based on the knowledge and the truth of these rays. Most of us are totally ignorant of it, but and even countries have a soul quality ray and have a personality quality ray. The United States, for instance, I'm from the United States, so I'll bring this up. Soul is on the second ray of love, wisdom. Personality is abstract idealism or devotion, which is a divine ray, just like the will or just like love. But at our level, we create the vice. We manifest the vices of the rays, not the virtues of the rays. And one of the major vices of the sixth ray, which the United States is prone to do, is self-deception. And so we have this ideal that's never really being met of freedom, an ideal that equal justice, for all kind of thing. Which, is there really justice for all in this country? Well, of course not. Is there freedom for everyone in this country? Of course not. But it's an ideal that we have. When we bomb the crap out of another country, are we really fighting for freedom, or are we just using that for our own personal ends, kind of deal, that kind of thing? Now, it was said by one of these masters that the soul quality of the United States, the love nature, the entire world is still waiting on that to manifest. When it does, it will transform the planet as a whole. The United States is very big and powerful, but it hasn't started to really manifest its soul quality yet. In the future, it will. In the very near future, it will. Under the inspiration of these masters and so forth. But the only time the United States ever manifested its soul ray was during the Marshall Plan. We talk about it in terms of the principle of sharing. And that was the only time the United States ever manifested the love nature of its soul. So in time, we will all do that. But also, too, as gluttonous as this nation is, as divided as this nation is, as self-deceptive as this nation is, it also has the capacity for self-sacrifice, which is one of the virtues of the sixth ray. And when the people of the United States start to wake up to the problems of the world and not just deny it, like the environment, will have a tremendous amount of self-sacrifice in order to help save the environment. So the hope for the United States is that sixth ray quality of self-sacrifice in a lot of ways. So hopefully that helps. Now let's get on into the article I want to read entitled The Guardians. And hopefully you listen to this video all the way through, because it does answer the question, why are the masters coming back now? Why is it important that they do so? And of course, what does it mean? So here we go. Whenever man is at a crossroads, faced with a difficult choice of direction, help, he can be sure, is near at hand. Thus it is today as man stands ready to opt for justice or death. To aid him in his decision, to outline the possibilities and dangers, to serve him and to guide him, man's elder brothers return. For long they have awaited this opportunity. For long they have been ready to emerge. Now that the hour has come, they face their tasks with joy, sure in the knowledge of its success. They know that however grave the problems, they will be overcome. However hard the decision, the right course will be taken. They know, too, that without their help, man would be in danger of self-destruction. They know that there are those who would unleash upon the world the chaos of total war. In such a war, there would be neither victory nor future, for all life would perish. The elder brothers stand ready to guard and to guide. They know that men long for peace, but feel helpless amidst the forces of disorder and separation. Await a sign that their cries for help have been heard, their longing recognized, their prayers for deliverance answered. The signs are there for men to see, yet doubting, they turn blind their eyes. Looking beyond, they see not the present. Searching the heavens, they see not the stranger at their door. Soon, for all to see, the Lord of love will present himself to the world. Then will come the challenge for men to remain helpless in the morass and forfeit all progress for the race, or to conquer greed and pride and manifest the divinity of men. We, the elder brothers, watch and wait, ready to respond when men seek our guidance and experience. That experience is hardly won and constitutes our right to oversee man's journey of return. Soon, men will discover that they are not, nor have ever been alone. That always in times of crisis have the guardians been near, protecting and guiding from the wings. Within the limits of the law has our help ever been forthcoming, and on this fact men may rely. They will see us as brothers, rather older in experience than themselves, in whose footsteps they may follow with assurance, as teachers on the path of the infinite way, who will guide them safely to the feet of God. As co-workers, ready to act together for the transformation of the world and the realization of the divine plan. Thus shall we, the guardians, be known by men. Thus shall we together build the new world on the foundations of the old, preserving the best of the past while we create the forms of the future. Naught can stop this manifestation. We, your elder brothers, are here. To the ancient retreats the call has gone forth. Return home. Return, the hour has come. In ones and twos we must retrace our steps, returning once more to the world of men. Gladly do we do this. Gladly do we accept this opportunity to serve and grow. Our joy is undiminished as we face the work ahead. Welcoming the new relationship with men, in partnership shall we create the glorious future which awaits all men. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.